Hey, there we are. Good morning. Welcome back. Back to Fritz and Friends. We're going to be doing some pair programming. My name is Jeff Fritz, and you, wherever you are on the internet, we're going to write some code together today. And I haven't had enough coffee yet because it's the first day after vacation, January 2nd, 2018. I'm going to have to get used to saying 2018. I'm going to be stuck saying 2017 for a while here. Looks like we're live both on Twitch and Mixer right now. Good morning, Mordecai, and good morning, Mazza101. Welcome. And there's Chris over in Mixer. Hello. Good to see you all joining again. Hope everybody had a great holiday break. We had a few days off here at the Fritz house. My wife's family came and visited for a day here, and we had fun over the New Year, right? Lots of college football. Driftwood HS, thanks for joining us here on the stream. Organic IT, good morning. And TBD Gamer, good to see you. Happy New Year to everyone. So over the weekend, I'm a big fan of college football. I gotta say, my Nittany Lions, they look pretty good there, and I gotta wear my Penn State, brand new Penn State hat. Thanks to my mother, of course, gets me new hats for every Christmas. This is only one of several that I got over the holiday. But Penn State Nittany Lions look pretty good. The Big Ten Conference as a whole looked really good, going 7-1 over all of the bowls. That was pretty exciting for me to see as a Big Ten fan. Michigan, you let us down again. Oh, and Organic IT is reminding me, someone we know is on today's episode of .NET Rocks. Gee, who could that be? Who could that be? So I've gone over, discussed today's hat. Yeah, let's take a look at .NET Rocks. Who's on today's episode of .NET Rocks? Let's take a quick look over here. Oh, there's Carl and Richard. Hi, Carl. Hi, Richard. And, it's me. Yes, I'm on today's episode. Where is it? There we are. So this is the one that I was recording. Let's see if we can get that to appear here. There we go. This is the one that I was recording 2 weeks ago now. Talking about things that are happening in .NET Framework 4.7.1. Of course, we've looked at some of those features here on the stream, talking about things like configuration builders. Carl and Richard had a bit of fun with some of the comments that I've received from folks asking to be able to support any files, in their .NET Framework applications. So we've got it covered, absolutely. So it was fun. I always enjoy talking to those guys. They're good friends, and I catch up with them, and I speak at the same conferences as them a number of times, particularly Dev Intersection. I'm at those shows with those guys. Coming up in a couple weeks, though, they have they participate in NDC London. I will not be at that event. Let's see, NDC London. Is it just... Oh, it is ndc-london.com. I would have gotten it wrong. They'll be here at this event along with a number of my colleagues. A bunch of people named Scott. So I encourage you to check out that event. Actually, I think everybody on my team is going to be there except me. Right? Let's see. Is Galloway there? Is John Galloway? Galloway. Nope, I don't think John's there. But Maria is there. There she is. So. Oh, look at this. And so I encourage you, if you're in the London area and you've already got tickets, go check that out. The team is trying to tell me something. No. I've got something else going on. Check this out. It looks like my good friend Mr. Billy Hollis chimes in here on my article, and this is the first topic I want to cover today. Good article about experience we all fear, another potential countermeasure. Use a separate email for Amazon that only they and their sellers would know. That's a good point, Billy. So let's recap, shall we? So thanks for the comment, Billy. I appreciate that. That drives to my first topic that I want to discuss, and it's over here on my blog, jeffreyfritz.com, and I want to talk about the issue that I had with our friends at the largest internet retailer, Amazon. I wrote up my entire experience here. I encourage you to check it out if you want to get the full details. I'm not going to read the entire article here, but I go through and I discuss everything that happened during this trial that I had last week, and I commented on it a little bit here on the last stream. What was that? Thursday last week. And at that time on Thursday, I hadn't had this worked out. The gist of what happened is I received an email from Amazon saying, "Hey, thanks for changing your email address. We're going to start routing everything now to some other email address." And I actually copied that email into the blog post here. Here's the problem. I didn't change my email. Somebody else did for me. So I called Amazon. I had a hard time trying to find Amazon's phone number, but I finally found it, and I called them, and I said, "Hey, I didn't change my email address. You need to fix this." And they said, "Well, we need to verify something, that you are who you are. What's your home address?" And I gave them my home address, and they let me in to access my information. And I think Christopher Titus summarizes my reaction at that point quite nicely here in this GIF. That was too easy for me to get back into my account, which means it's also easy for the bad guys to get into my account. That's a bad thing. How do I get an extra factor of authentication to prevent other folks from getting in and getting access to my account? I was not aware of it, but Amazon does have two-factor authentication. So I went through and I set up, and I show you here in this blog post where you can go to set up two-factor authentication. They give you a little QR code that you can scan, and then your phone will generate numbers that will allow you to log on and access your account. Good afternoon, DJ Vortex. So, as a second factor of authentication, Chris, you're right, pointing out there in the Mixer chat room, that a home address as a second factor of authentication to prove that I am who I am is terrible. It's a terrible form of authentication because here's the thing. If I go to haveibeenpwned.com, right, we know this website, it's written and hosted by my friend Troy Hunt. If you look down here, there is onliner spam bot accounts. There are 711 million spam bot accounts hanging out there. And you can find that list and search it. Now, Troy won't let you search it and find someone's home address here on his website. But if folks wanted to get your home address with your email address, it's in that dump. Mine was when I keyed in my email address here on Troy's website, and it, sure enough, my combination of information was here. So literally the two factors of authentication that Amazon uses to verify who I am is publicly available. And that's a problem. So I added to my account a second factor of authentication. I added this personally identifiable information that comes now from my phone. Now you can also have it generate and send you a text message, but here on my phone, I get my second factor, this 6-digit number. What Billy's recommending, which is probably a pretty good practice, is don't make your email address your login to some of these sites, right? My email address is something at gmail.com, right? It's jeff@jeffreyfritz.com. That's how you can reach me. No problem. Go ahead and use it, jeff@jeffreyfritz.com. But I shouldn't, that's a publicly available and knowledgeable, everybody knows that's my email address. I shouldn't use that as my login to these sites. So maybe I go set up another email address, not jeff@jeffreyfritz.com, and use that as my login credentials to sites like Amazon and Jet and wherever else that it is that I want to go sign in and be able to access and do shopping, do these types of things where I'm going to have my credit card and some of these other things available. Over in the chat, Chris says, to roll over a 401k, I was asked my home address and social security number. Yikes. That's another collection that's not secret information. And if folks want to search for it, yeah, that's going to be easily accessible. And Chris goes on to say in the Mixer chat room, I've used the plus trick on Gmail, but it is so tedious to keep up with, and sub websites treated it as invalid. So his suggestion is that you have your Gmail address, right? My email at gmail.com. Gmail actually supports being able to put things on here like plus Amazon, and even though that plus Amazon is seen as a different email address to folks all over the web, when it comes into Gmail, they'll see this plus Amazon, strip that off, and forward the contents onto my email at gmail.com. What you can then do is you can then add a filter inside Gmail that says, look for that plus Amazon in who it was sent to, and then you can apply labels, filter it, and place those things appropriately. That's a pretty good trick, Chris. I think that's not a bad idea, and might work out nicely for me. I think I'm just going to start changing all of my login accounts to not Jeff@jeffreyfritz.com. That way people can't find me. It might work. So, I'm going to continue. So I've gotten a little bit of action on this blog post here, talking about how my Amazon account was hacked and how I made it more secure by turning on two-factor authentication. I started recording a YouTube video, a little 10-minute video, one of my Fritz's 10-minute tips that I think for some of the less technical savvy folks, certainly nobody on this who's viewing this stream right now, because we're coding, we're a little bit technically savvy, but folks who aren't as savvy, like my parents or my in-laws, they should know how to do this and why two-factor authentication is not scary. Open source HMail server also supports plus addressing. Oh, that's cool. Thanks for that tip, Check Digits. Hello guys, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Bruno. Good to see you. So I'm going to continue this blog post. I'm going to put together a couple of these. I'm going to next speak about it on the blog. Some things around social engineering, right? That's what I believe happened with my account. I haven't gotten a full report from Amazon yet. I want to know what IP address this person signed in with when they changed my email address. I want to know if they called and spoke to anybody in customer service. Were there a significant number of invalid login attempts that came in? Or did they just find my password hanging out there somewhere and sign in with it? I hope that's not what happened. I'd like to know if that's what happened, because I'm going to go and I've already started changing passwords everywhere, but I'm going to completely mark anything that's similar to that password as not usable again. Now, you may see, and you can't see it right now in my browser, but I'm going to shrink this browser window a little bit. You see, I have the little doodad up here for LastPass. I use LastPass to log into all of my websites, so I really only have to remember one password. But I do that to keep things more secure, keep things all in one place, and don't have to think about it. Good luck getting those details easily. Yes, thank you, Organic IT. Have I been pwned? Yes, I have. And Amazon isn't on there. And the websites that are on there, I haven't used that password at. So, not quite sure where or how they got access to that. And I'm very diligent when it comes to phishing emails. So, and I'm certainly, I'd like to think I'm a little bit of an expert, maybe. So I'd like to think that I wasn't tricked into giving my password away. So that's all I want to say about that for right now. Some folks have gone so far as after I wrote this blog post and I tweeted it, they forwarded the blog post to Jeff Bezos and asked him to change their policy. Oh, I don't think Mr. Bezos is looking at my email. But I think I appreciate folks that have said, reached out like that. That's very kind. I've actually had a number of local news reporters check in with me around this blog post and some of the things that happened around it. So I'm happy that folks are becoming aware and are starting to protect themselves. But be careful out there. Wow. All right, we've got a couple of messages here in the chat room I want to touch on. Plenty of folks send me legitimate emails with long stringy URLs. Yes, have to be careful with all of those. And when they do say, "Hey, come log into our website," I don't like to click links in emails that say, "Hey, go log into this website." Cicero 743. Hey, I want to ask you about ASP.NET development. Let's do it. I have basic OOP knowledge of C#, etc. I want to jump into web development on .NET Framework. Okay. Some say just learn ASP.NET Core instead of ASP.NET. Would you recommend me to learn normal ASP.NET Framework and then look into ASP.NET Core? That's a question from Cicero 743 over there on Twitch. Chris is saying instead of having folks send you an email that says, "Hey, click this link to go and change your settings," I'd rather they say log into the legitimate site now and go here. Agreed. Okay. Organic IT. The email I used for Amazon, was that in Have I Been Pwned? Yes, it was. It was not listed with Amazon. It was not listed. It was listed with some very, very old ones like Tumblr. My blog used to be on Tumblr years ago. Let's see. I once got an email from PayPal with a strange URL. I've called PayPal because they want to know about phishing emails, and the first person told me the email wasn't legit, while another told me it was legit. Yeah, that's kind of what I ran into with Amazon. Was I asked them, I want to speak to somebody in your fraud department. Oh, we don't have a fraud department. No, first they said, we have a fraud department. I'll make sure that they get in touch with you in the morning. And then the second person said, no, we don't have a fraud department. That's a problem, that you don't know whether or not you have a fraud department and you're the largest online retailer in the world. You better darn well have a fraud department, because there are much smaller companies that do. But I want to get back to Cicero's question, start getting into our coding here today, and we can move off of security. And I'm going to reach out to a couple of folks and see if we can talk about two-factor authentication and configuring it in applications. Maybe later this week, maybe next week, we'll see. But I have that on my to-do list. I need to touch on music first before I go into the code. My gosh, I've been playing the music here now for almost 20 minutes. This is Music to Code By from my friend Carl Franklin. Today's song we're listening to is Green. This was released as part of the second album of Music to Code By in 2015. It's about 24 minutes long, and it's part of that set of music that's groovy and gets you in the flow and focused on different things. I encourage you to check out his app, Music to Flow By. It's available for iOS and Android. All right, enough about that. I want to talk about ASP.NET or ASP.NET Core. And to answer Cicero's question, Cicero, I would have to ask, what is it you need to do? If your target platform is Windows, will always be Windows, and you can't take a risk on new platforms that are going to be changing quickly. And by quickly, I mean every 6 months, significant changes. Stick with .NET Framework. ASP.NET, .NET Framework. It's 15 years old, 16 years old this year. It's been around for a long time. It's very mature, very hardened, very secure. If you, Organic IT here is pointing out the other side of this. If you are interested in, I'm not going to say if you're interested in containers, but if you're interested in going cross-platform, so you want to be able to develop with your colleagues who are on a Mac, if you want to publish to Linux, if you want to develop on Linux, check out ASP.NET Core. It's a significantly stripped down environment and framework compared to ASP.NET on Windows, the older version, 4.7.1. If you do go with .NET Framework, the .NET Framework version of ASP.NET, if you build things in a way that they are modular, write things into class libraries that target .NET Framework 4.7.1, you should be able to, refactor and bring those into .NET Core if you want to level up your environment in the future. And Chris makes a good point in the Mixer chat room. For a lot of folks, it is about finding work. .NET Framework still has a lot of inertia. There are a lot of folks out there that have Windows servers, and they want to continue using those Windows servers, and they've got existing applications that are built on .NET Framework. But I will say that you can do things with .NET Framework in Windows-based containers. Organic IT was right there. If you are interested in Linux containers, you're going to go with .NET Core. You're going to go with ASP.NET Core. It's a good choice. It works great. I encourage you to check that out. Oh gosh, RD Garrett, thank you for the subscription. Gosh, you didn't need to. You don't need to subscribe, but I very much appreciate that. But right now, a lot of the Organic IT and Space Shot are both saying the right thing here. Folks in big enterprises are pushing .NET Framework right now. They've got existing applications. They want to maintain them. They want to enhance them. New applications, we encourage you to check out .NET Core. There's a number of folks that are in web-based companies that are checking it out because it's got better performance, runs in much smaller environments. You don't have to spin up as much resources to get things up and running. Bruno says, I must say the ASP.NET Core made life so much easier to support two-factor authentication. Haha, look at this. I did a small app, and in no time I got it up and running, supporting two-factor. Really cool. I'd love to see a blog on that from Crankinator. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Or maybe a live stream about it. Well, let's, you know what? Let me show you what we have out of the box with ASP.NET Core and two-factor authentication. So let's just take a quick peek here. I'm not even, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to do this with Visual Studio Code today. So let me start up my command shell. I'm going to use the Windows command shell because command prompt, because that's what all right, where the heck did it go? Command. There it is. And I see that, yep. All right, Karnak is working for me today. Let's see how long it takes for it to crash. So I'm going to go over to dev here. And I'm going to use the .NET command line tool to start up a new application here. Now, right, the .NET command line tool has all kinds of commands to help you start a new application and maintain that application, build it, and publish it right here on the command line. So let's start a new one here. We'll call it demo two-factor. And I'm actually going to say new and help, okay? Because I actually have a bunch of different templates that I can use here to build a new application. And I want to build a new application with security turned on. And I'm actually going to use the model view controller template right here. So what I can do, there's actually other parameters that you can pass in that do other things, that light up other features. So let's do .NET new, MVC, help. And now it's going to show me some of those other commands that I can pass in to tell it to do other things. So I do want to turn on authentication. So I can pass in -AU, and then I'm going to pass individual. And that's going to give me configuration and capabilities to set up a database that'll store my credentials to host this application. Now, you can also configure for Azure AD, organizational authentication for a single tenant, for multiple tenants. These are going to be looking for some sort of a authentication server behind the scenes that you want to use. I got inspired by Jeff and John on the MVA video. I strongly suggest Microsoft Virtual Academy, that's what MVA stands for, to learn things. Another topic I'm studying is TDD. TDD is very cool. Let me start up this new application here. So I'm going to say -AU, and then I'm going to say individual, and I'm going to specify an output folder that I want to put it in, and I will call it demo 2-factor. All right. Now this is creating it, and it's going to do a restore automatically. It's going to restore any NuGet packages that are referenced here. So restore succeeded. Let's go down into that folder. And you'll see I've got a couple things here. AppDB. This is a SQLite database that's going to host all of my configuration information. Now, why do we use SQLite? Because it's small and easy to use and cross-platform. So I don't have to worry about configuring SQL Server, MySQL, Postgres, anything like that. So I'm going to start up Visual Studio Code and point to this folder. And let's take a peek around, because what I want to show you, talking about two-factor authentication, there's a lot of these extra tabs down here. It kind of gets annoying. Required assets are required to build, add them, sure. Now what I want to show you is under controllers is this account controller. And this is where it's going to set up and do things like login. All right. So in MVC, all of our actions, the places that you can navigate to, are methods inside of a controller. And that's the way that you write these, the way you write your web pages by default using MVC. You have a controller class, and it has methods that will respond to those different locations. So this is account controller, and it'll respond when you navigate to the controller's name and then the action or the name of the method. So in this case, account/login. All right. So when I navigate to that with a get, right, that's when you just key in the address into your browser's address bar, it's going to execute this method and then return. But when I post, it's going to do this one that's decorated with the HTTP post attribute. It's going to receive these parameters and then go through and process and determine whether or not you're allowed access. Now, what I want you to check out here is the sign-in manager, the default sign-in manager that's going to do all of your login processing to verify if you're allowed access, right? If you've been authenticated properly to access the website. It does a password sign-in, and you're passing in email, password, there's that email again. Password, whether or not you should remember them, if they should be locked out, if they failed to log in, we'll get back to that later. But if the result coming back from the sign-in manager says we need to do two-factor authentication, then what we're going to do is we're going to pass over to the login with two-factor authentication method. And that's right down here. So it's going to get two-factor authentication user async, and this is all built and available for you behind the scenes, and we generated all this code for you so that you can easily set up two-factor authentication in an ASP.NET Core app. In the Twitch chat room, hi, is there someone who can help me with a very simple thing in Perl? You know what? Perl's not my bag. Anybody in the chat room can answer a question about Perl? So this two-factor authentication bit here is going to return a view. Now the views are actually stored over here in the views folder. That's convenient. And if we go into account, because this is the account controller, all of the views for it by default are stored in the account folder. There is a login with 2FA page, right? This is a Razor page that that will render that two-factor authentication capability. And you can see there's all kinds of, there's labels, and there's a label for the two-factor code, and there's a bit for a control here, and there's something here that says, do you have an authenticator device? And log in with a recovery code. So check this out. If we come back over to not the account controller, but the manage controller. Manage controller is where you're actually going to register as a new user. And if I go down here, so there's index. If you're going to manage your account, where is it? Change password. Where is register? Is it in account? I thought register was. Oh no, I'm sorry. Register is over here in account. But it receives a whole bunch of information, and there is a bit in here that will help you set your password. And I thought it was, here it is. So when you go to set a password, it's over here in the manage controller. And if we look at the manage folder for set password, so here's, key in your new password, confirm password. But there's also a bit to help you configure two-factor authentication. And there's actually an ability to add an authenticator and have that capable to be used with your ASP.NET Core application. And this is all already built for you. Now, the catch with this is that when you enable the authenticator, there's actually we don't bundle the library that generates that QR code. All right, here it is, HTML raw model authentication URI. So we actually give you some instructions for how to go and enable and put this QR code in there. Let's see. Post your question. We can see. Crankinator, is there a sample available somewhere? Sorry, I missed the first few minutes. All I did was .NET New at this point. So this is something you can generate by executing that same .NET New command that I showed. Check digits. I can do PHP and maintain Perl scripts under protest. Nice. Bruno, it's the regular .NET New MVC call result. The MVC template contains the sample application. Well, it's not just that. You need to make sure you turn on the individual authentication. Oliver asks, what am I working on? I'm showing a little bit of how you can add two-factor authentication to an ASP.NET Core application. Whew. I don't recall seeing all of this, but haven't looked in a bit. Yeah, this was just added as part of the ASP.NET Core 2.0 set of templates. So I encourage you to check those out. Now, I like Mixer, I really do, but it doesn't update my console over here, even though I set it to live analytics, so I can maintain and see what's going on over on Mixer. Thanks, Mixer. Again, it won't let me hide. It won't let me hide my actual channel. It wants to show me my channel while I'm viewing the analytics, which feels weird. Alright, just checking a couple things here because I've got a couple of things popping off in the background here. I just want to take a look here. Oh, cool. Alright. So, this is where you can learn about how to add two-factor authentication into your application. It comes with all the templates. I encourage you to check out the templates because it's real easy to clip out some of this and add it to an existing application. All right? So check that out. Organic IT. Maybe AWS should use .NET Core to write their customer service app. Fat chance of that happening. I know some people at Amazon, they'll use whatever works best. So, drat, I'm out of coffee. Next beverage. off to water, I guess. All right, so that's a little bit about how to set up two-factor authentication, what comes with the existing application that's out there. I'm going to try and bring on some folks, and we'll talk a little bit further about setting this up and what makes it so good, and some of the things about attack vectors around this that we've done to protect you, I think. I think that might be a good discussion to pair program on in the next week or two. See if I can get someone to join me. All right. Where to next? Let's take a look at... Let's get rid of that. Let's go up one. Oh, there goes Karnak. Bye, Karnak. Feels bad, man. And it's back. All right. Over here on the live stream to-do list here, right, in my issues list, I do want to do a show talking about Windows Docker containers and the .NET framework. I have a couple friends that are very interested in joining me on that. Glenn's popped on here a couple times. I think we want to talk to Glenn about that. Just .NET and containers in general, and pair program on that. So now that we're back to working normally, I'm going to be sending out a number of these invites to discuss. How and why should I upgrade my existing library? This is an interesting question. And the question, it really is around no description provided. Feels bad. Why should I update to .NET Standard? Right? If I've got something that works great in .NET 3.5, doesn't the new .NET Standard 2.0 allow me to use that shim to be able to include and use those older libraries? So I think we'll talk about this. I would really... could we invite Immo or Kathleen to discuss and pair on this topic? I think that might be some fun for a future show. Configure Nightbot, show using ASP.NET Core 4.7.1. This is something actually one of my development teams asked me. I want to show you how to use ASP.NET, not Core 4.7.1. No. Oh wow. Day Rednud. Thank you for following. I appreciate that. And yep, Steve, we're talking about developers. That's the right title. No framework changes needed to run configuration builders in a Windows container. I need to show you that. That's a lot of fun to use. I want to make sure that my machine is up and running and can handle that. Because it's actually pretty cool to do. In fact, let's see if we can do that real quick. If I can get Docker to switch to Windows containers, let's see if it'll work. Because if it does, maybe we can take a look at that real quick right now. Docker is running. All right. Prove it. Okay. That's not how you spell Docker. Docker images. Yep, there's my 4.7.1 Windows Server core. And a really, really big set of containers out here. I mean, wow. Just wow. All right. You know what? Let's see if we can use... I think these two might actually go together. All right. Can we do this with 8? Cool. I think we can just take a look at... What do you say? Do you mind if I show you a little bit about Windows containers? And .NET Framework. Let's do it. Let's get Visual Studio open here. Because this is something really cool that my teams in particular have been working on. And Mixer crashed. Nice. Will not show me live analytics no matter how hard I try. Feels bad. Yeah. Alright, fine. I'm just going to look at my number of folks that are up there in the corner. That's how I know how many people are online. And I've got a weird white spot here. That's better. Just had to fix my lighting a little. Don't go away. All right. Let's do a new project. And I'm going to bring in and I'm going to use the configuration builders here. I'm going to use web. I'm going to use .NET Framework. Put this down in my dev folder, and we will call this sample ASP.NET. I'm going to choose web forms because I like them. Enable Docker support. Yes, let's do that too. Now, let's see if this actually works for me this time. So, I'm writing this sample on the fly. If I get somewhere where this gets a little bit compelling, I'll save it off and I'll put it in the GitHub repository. But I'm not sure I'm going to be getting too far into this. Organic IT. Problem with Windows containers is that most enterprises don't have the skill or interest to support maintaining server core images. Interesting. But they will support server core VMs, which feels weird, but true. So this is the default ASP.NET 4.7.1 image, and it's got a bunch of stuff here so that you can use all the different things that come with ASP.NET, right? You can set up authentication, you can set up web pages, real easy. Becomes a non-starter for many enterprises. Yeah, well, okay. Many enterprises won't support server core VMs. Really, full GUI all the way. Interesting. I mean, I get the paranoia and wanting to have a GUI there that I can reach out and touch. But the number of folks that I hear, the alpha developers and IT folks that want everything on the command line. They want to be able to write shell scripts to manage everything. Oh, Karnak. All right, goodbye. You're not coming back this time. The number of folks that I hear that want to write shell scripts in PowerShell to maintain it feels like they're the more productive folks. The more active. They want to push their skills a little bit. I think it's more that many people in the dark matter don't know scripting at all. Yes, agreed. And third-party products make it easier to maintain in the user interface. I can buy that. So let me show you here. This by default will launch and run inside of a Docker image. So it's building and it's doing its normal build here, right? At normal.NET compile, and then it's gonna, right? See, I've got my sample ASP.NET DLL because all ASP.NET applications actually compiled to a DLL that IIS, the Internet Information Server, loads up and hosts. So it's now starting up the application. Oh, thank you for the follow, RD Garrett. No. Explain. And this is going to take a while, isn't it? So this compose is actually out here writing. There's my image, and see, it's writing 5.93 gig. That's a huge image. All right, and then it's going to try and get that started and running here. So if I do a Docker PS, you can see that it's not there. Here we go. Organic IT says third-party products are the reason server core doesn't have more penetration. Lots of infra support products don't support server core. I see what you're saying. Interesting. Okay. I hadn't thought of that. If the third-party products that folks need to use don't support server core, then yeah, you need to install the full version of the server operating system. So there it is. So it takes a while to get that container started the first time. But we've actually set it up so that it'll restart quickly. And as a developer, this feels really slow. And this is something that we're working on, is this inner loop performance, right? How fast it'll get things up and running. Project Honolulu will help. Sorry, don't know that code word. GUI needed for compliance and auditing. Oh, man. Yeah, I get it. And Chris says GUI is assumed in the dark matter dev world. Yeah, I know that one. Let's see where we're going here. All right, so here's the second one. So it does the build in one first, and then deploys to a second. Why do I have two of these? It's taking its good old time, though. The HTML server manager from Microsoft. Oh, you are talking about... Oh, gosh. What was it? IIS.net? Where is it? The... Information Services UI. Where is that now? Nope, wrong one. No. There is a console that you can just browse to. Search for Project Honolulu. Locally deployed browser-based management tool that enables on-premises. Yes. Eldorian, thank you for the subscription. Oh my gosh, that is J.R. Cook. Thank you. Gosh, you didn't need to do that. No. There is a website that you can go to that'll give you access to this. Ugh. No, this isn't what I'm looking for. But I know what this is. Some of the engineers on one of the engineers on one of my teams is actually working on this. It's all Angular based, and it pushes back to basically a web API endpoint that allows you to manage your web server. Where's my application here, ASP.NET? Still waiting. So this is the problem that I was having before, is that this current instance takes forever to start on this machine. And I did a demo of this for Connect that ran very, very quickly. And I don't know why it isn't anymore. And is it because I'm using that Server Core 1709? Because the Server Core 1709 is the Fall Creators Update version. So, and I'm not happy with how long this is taking, and I don't want to sit here and wait for this any longer than I need to. And it makes me feel bad that it's taking this long. So I'll go over to Docker. Right, I can see everything. Encountered an error during create timer. Timeout waiting for extra notification info. Yuck. Yuck. I'm not happy with that. Alright. I'm gonna have to come back to this. I thought now that I had things split up and had it running a little bit better, easier, faster. Yeah, there's build errors. I know. Running sample ASP.NET, cannot start service, container, timeout waiting for... Yeah, that's what I saw. So, either something's broken on my install of Docker. I'll check for updates real quick. Or I don't have something configured quite right with this image. I have a feeling it's the image. M. Crumcamp, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. And thank you, Steve. It's always great to see you here in the morning. Our good friend, Mr. Ballmer. I can't believe this isn't working. I feel bad now. Feel shame. And that still doesn't work either. I'm going to go over to... No, I'm not going to go over to the configuration builders. I think I just want to go back to my ASP.NET Core project and get some help with how this isn't working, so we can talk about it on another time. You know what I'm going to do? Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to copy this message so that I can bring that to one of our friends and get some help. So I just copied that. I'm going to go over here into this. Had an error while trying to use Windows containers. There we go. And I'm actually... Right, isn't there a way to make that? Yeah, it's code. Do that. Comment. Fantastic. So now I can use that, have that information available when I go and ask somebody for help on this. But for now, I want to go back to our other project that we've been working on. I already checked in here on the Configuration Builders project. There's no new issues. We'll come back to that later and do some more work on that, because I think that's a fun project. And then Epic Build Music, no new issues, no new pull requests. I still need to get this working in Visual Studio 2015. I encourage you to check this out if you're interested in learning about writing an extension for Visual Studio. This is a simple extension that plays music while your application is building. Check that out. But the one that I have been working on is this one, Stream Tools. And Stream Tools does a little bit of formatting, formats information about the streams that I'm connected to, in my case, Mixer and Twitch, and formats it so I can inject them into the video like you see up above me here, right? That bar, that ASP.NET Core Workshop bar, and the followers count in the corner there, those are actually coming from a web server. Those are ASP.NET Core output that have just been formatted and stuck into my video stream using OBS. So that's kind of cool. It was really easy for me to build. And over the break, my friend Suze Hinton, she's No Op Cat, both on Twitter and on GitHub. She wrote a Christmas overlay where she wrote a bot in Node.js. It's not even a bot. But it connects to the IRC for Twitch, listens for certain commands for people saying Merry Christmas, and it would output, it would send a message down a WebSocket to a browser and post information about that they said Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. I thought this was pretty cool because in this Node.js server that she wrote very, very quickly, she was able to connect and push out information using, she uses this library called Skateboard to push that information back and forth. And the socket is opened and listened to here in her index page, which was extremely simple. So she uses her Skateboard library, and when it receives data, it shows a festive message with the nickname of the person that wrote it in. And she just literally formats a div and text on the screen to output happy GIF and little piece of information that says Happy Holidays, whoever posted that. Real simple, using IRC with sockets to connect into the Twitch IRC, listen, establish a bot out there in the chat room, and then interact with it, receive those messages, process those, and interact and put something fun in the video automatically. Now, I don't necessarily want to do that directly, but this interaction and pushing things using using sockets directly on screen, I do want to use, and in .NET Core and .NET, we call that SignalR. So I want to start taking a look at SignalR and seeing, is this something that I can use, SignalR with .NET Core no less, is this something I can use to start to keep up my metric up there for the ASP.NET Core workshop goal and the number of followers that I have up there. Because I right now, I have a very manual fetch that happens to go load that information. And let me show you, let me change over to that project. And I'm going to move. So in my Stream Tools project, and I renamed the project from Rundown to Stream Tools because it makes sense here. Would you like to switch Docker to Linux containers? Yes, please. So you can see it's executing Docker CLI, switch daemon, so that it switches from Windows to Linux. That's pretty cool. Look at that. Encountered errors setting up the project. Gee. That looks like it's working. Let me go over here. And you can see all of my images for Linux are running and they're out here. So I think I'm okay. All right. In this project, though, I mentioned I have this very manual pull that's happening. I actually pull the API. And yeah, so my goal, so the goal Razor file here, this template is what generates that ASP.NET Core Workshop bar up at the top. So I've got some simple CSS, and then here's the really cool bar that we worked on a couple weeks ago so that we can have it overlay and fill up and change the color of those numbers, even mid-number. But here's my very simple polling, right? I'm including jQuery, and every 5 seconds, I reach out to API followers, and I update the current value. Now that's not too bad, and that's even actually wrong. I don't, because right now that's going to update just the current value, and it's not actually setting the width. Haha. The width of that follower bar, right? Which should be this value. The goal divided by the current value times the width. So I still need to set that appropriately. Otherwise, I could have 20, 30, 40 people start following, and that bar won't grow, but the number will change, right? So that's not quite right. So I need to fix that. But this part right here is what I'm not thrilled with, right? I mean, I'm polling, it does what I need because it's polling against and let me show you. Here's the Docker image running right here on my production machine, and it's just sitting there listening, and the only person connected to it is me. So it's not actually doing anything new. But I want to learn something new. And that's part of some of the things that I'm doing and I want to do here on the stream is I want to learn something new. I want to push my boundaries, get uncomfortable, and learn how to do something different. This polling is effective. It does what I need. It's broken. It doesn't update the bar properly. But I want to get a little uncomfortable, and I want to learn how to do WebSockets with SignalR. So I think that's what I want to go into here today. What do you think? Anybody have any concerns if we take a look and start learning a little SignalR together? I'll wait for the chat room to catch up. All right. You learn, we learn. Love that. SignalR is awesome. All right. So SignalR is still in a bit of an alpha state. It's not supported fully by the team yet. So we're going to have to go and do some digging to figure out how to pull it into the project. And once we get it into the project, then we can start working with listening appropriately over those channels, and interacting. And then at some point here, I'm gonna grab one of my friends to help us write a bot, kind of like Sue's did over here, but in her bot, right? And congratulations to her. This is really easy. In her bot, she's just matching literally on a regex for a specific piece of information, and then outputting detail appropriately. I'm going to actually engage Azure's LUIS, Language Interactive Service, and I'm going to listen and figure out what you guys are doing, what you're saying, and respond appropriately. A little bit more advanced than what Nightbot or some of those other platforms can do. Yes, we're outputting to Twitch and Mixer. I had someone suggest to me possibly I should stream to YouTube Live also, because some folks want to, they're blocked from accessing Twitch or Mixer online from their place of business in the morning, and they can get to YouTube. I can get to either one. Eldorian says, I used SignalR at a previous workplace. We used it to send captchas to Malaysia, where a team solved them and sent back the info. Yeah, that's... That's a little dubious. Yeah. Nefarious isn't quite the term I would use. So, go straight to jail. All right. First thing I want to do before I go any further, I want to fix that bar. So right now, I want to make sure that I'm outputting get elements by class name. I want to make sure that I size the progress appropriately. Now, the progress is the width times the current value times the goal value. Well, the width, you know what? I'm going to cheat, and I'm just going to output the full width here. Yeah. Just so that I have it. And I'm just going to pivot to Razor here and drop it in. View bag width. And then I'll put a semi. Luxicon, thank you for following. I appreciate it. There's a reason I don't work there anymore. Yes. Ooh. Joe the Pro 5, thank you for joining us this morning. Gosh, did somebody write something on Twitter? So Richard Campbell mentioned that I'm on .NET Rocks. Yep. I was on .NET Rocks this morning. It's the new download available. I encourage you to check it out. I had a lot of fun talking with them. Carl gets the giggles, and we have a good time. All right, so I have the full bar width here. So my calculation is the current value divided by the goal value. Well, I need the goal value here also, so I can do that calculation. So let's make that available equals model goal value. And now I can set that progress width appropriately. So document get element by ID, and its progress, right? And then I'm going to say style width, and then I can do that same calculation here. So, gosh, I need to make sure data is an integer, right? And the data is the current value. Okay, so it is the full bar width, not full BART. All right, full bar width times the current value, which is data. So I want to do parse int data 10, right? Because I want to make sure that it's parsed as a decimal. And then, divided by the goal value. And that should now size the bar appropriately for me. There we go. Thank you, Marco. Yep. All right. So I think that's all I need to fix my goal bit here. I don't want to run it in Docker. I want to run it locally. If I run it in Docker, it doesn't have my secrets available to me so that it knows how to connect to Twitch or Mixer and actually get those things. So I'm going to set this one as the startup project. No, don't run on IIS Express. Run using Stream Tools. This runs using only the native .NET Core web server, right? That's called Kestrel. So here comes the browser, the server, my bad. And we'll see that start. Here's my browser. Okay, so followers count. Okay, so there's my followers count. If I go to goal. All right, so, right, there's a bunch of parameters I can pass into this. So I can say goal is 500, and that's cool people following me. There we go, cool people following me, and that's that 315. I might need to do a plus px to the width. Oh, good point. Right now, width is a string, and it's, yeah, you know what? I think you're right. Let's do a plus px so that it, and let's take a look at that source. It should have, there it is. So that looks right. Now, how do I test it? How do I test it? It's a great question. How do I test that? How? How can we test that it's actually increasing and it's actually doing new things here? Well, it reaches back into, right? It reaches back to API followers. And API followers is here. It is my followers controller. And it's just returning the sum between these two. Maybe I can set up a post that when I'm in development mode, it sets that. Crankinator, can we all unfollow and follow again? No, don't do that. Oh, gosh, no, you don't need to do that. But that would be a full integration test. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put an HTTP post in here. And void post. And, gosh, I need to make sure it listens on a specific URL. So I'm going to listen on API followers. And what I want to do is I want to say if configuration, nope, not that configuration. I want to make sure, I'm going to test that I'm in development mode. So how do I test that I'm in development? That's available on, I thought it's available on iConfiguration, right? If I have iConfiguration something, nope. Is it iHosting configuration? No. It's iHosting environment? Is that what I'm thinking? Yeah, there it is. So then I can say is development. All right. So I need to receive the iHosting environment. So I'm going to add that as another parameter to my followers controller here. And my parameters up here are getting kind of big and gnarly. So I'm going to start doing some carriage returns in here just to make it easier for me to read. So let's add iHosting environment env. And this hosting environment config, no, not config. equals env. So the hosting environment has information about the environment that's hosting our application. And in particular, there is a helper method that says isDevelopment, right? And it'll let me test for the different environments that I'm living in. And ASP.NET Core, by default hosts and listens in production. So what I want to do here is I want to say if hosting environment isDevelopment, then I'm actually going to stash that value as a test value here. So, and I actually want to receive it here. Okay. So we'll call it new followers, right? So let's create a field called test followers equals new followers. All right. Now this field, let's just generate that. Okay. So it generated and stashed that private variable up here for me because I did control period. So what I'll do during the get is I'll just write a quick thing here that says if hosting environment isDevelopment. Why did I get 7s? Ugh. And test followers is greater than 0. Return test followers. That's easy. So now I should be able to post those test followers and actually see those. Oh, something happened and my video is slowed down to 5 frames per second again. And it happens right at about the hour mark. And I'm looking particularly in OBS, my frames per second went down to 9. There's something that happens at right about the hour mark. And for like 2-3 minutes, my frames per second just slows to nothing. And I don't know why. There it comes again. Gaming Network DE. Thank you for the follow. And my CPU isn't very busy at all here. I haven't dropped any frames. It's literally my webcam just decided to... And OBS decided, hey, I'm going to get something more fun over here to do instead. I'm not quite sure what that is. I'm going to have to do some research on that. Somebody said that was pretty common. I call it Jeff on the space station view. Look at me. Here I am. 13 ears eat leets? Thank you for the follow. Lear seat leets. I don't. Oh gosh. Bears eat beets? Welcome. You're gonna have to help me with how you pronounce that. There's Philly.net. I think Chris is over. I've been wondering if browser source ends up being an in-process hawk. No, actually, my CPU and things are doing quite well. I think it's browser source. I think it that's me on the other platform. Nice. I think what we're and my frames per second is back up into the 20s now. It's definitely something in OBS. Nope, there goes my frames per second down into 10. Ugh. I'm gonna keep going here. It'll catch up. It's broken out of this before, and folks have said this happens to the big streamers also. Have to see what someone like Disguised Toast. There's a name, Disguised Toast. See what he does if he runs into this. Bears eats beets from The Office when Jim impersonates Dwight. Yes. All right, so I should be able now to post my new followers here and see this actually update. So I'm going to rerun this. Back at 6 frames per second. Okay, so that's not what I want. I should be able to refresh that. There we go, 317, okay. That looks right. Now, I want to post that information. I forget, do I have Fiddler on this one? No. Do I have Postman? Not the Postman. Ugh. Let's go get Postman. API development tool. Oh, wait. Chrome Web Store. Even better. Yep. Do it. I'm not running in Chrome. That's why. I thought I had Postman here. Come here. Insomnia.rest. Insomnia.rest? No, I thought I had Postman installed here. Get the standalone Windows version. I like it in Chrome. That way I don't have something else hanging out. There it is. Postman. And it actually opens in a new browser. Nice. That's not annoying. Sign up, it's free. Already have an account. I do already have an account. Ugh. Sign in with Google. No, don't want to do that. Aren't I this? And something like that. See, why am I signing in to a tool here that I just want to use completely locally? Isn't that annoying? Chrome apps are being deprecated. Yeah, fine, go away. Alright, so I should be able to do a get and go to this address and have it just work. Cool. So I get HTML back. Things look good. Yes, they are moving to a standalone, but I like the plugin. So I'm going to post back, and I wanted to post to API followers with a new followers account. Eldorian says, Insomnia.rest is nice, but I always still end up defaulting to Postman. All right, let me take a look at Insomnia.rest for you. Insomnia.rest. Debug APIs like a human, not a robot. Finally, a REST client you'll love. I'd love to, you know what I'd love to see? I'd love to see a REST client in Visual Studio Code. That looks pretty cool. Neat. All right. I'll have to remember that one. So there's my followers goal. Oops. Hang on. There we go. Let me go back to Postman. There it is. So what I should be able to do is I should be able to do a post to, it was API followers, and then it was, what's the number I need to, new followers is the name of the argument I'm passing. All right. So I should be able to say new followers, do something like this, equals, and let's say 400, and send. So nothing came back. Looks like it did something. And I should see this number change here. Nope, didn't change. So let's check that. Do this one more time. There it is. And new followers is 400. So it should... Right, it sets my test followers. And... Yep, okay, so there's the actual service. My followers controller, let me just put a break there. And I should see this page. Request, there we go. Now, why is it saying test followers is still 0? I know why. I know why. I know why. John McBride, sounds like a plugin or extension for Visual Studio Code. Yep. And a cool GitHub community project. Agreed. That would be a very cool community project. The reason test followers went back to 0 is because every time a new page is requested, it news up there I go. It creates a new instance of this controller. So my field up here is reinitialized every time. So I'm going to make that a static. And I'm going to need to rebuild to make that work. So let's rebuild, and we'll give this another shot. There we go. Yep. Looking for that value. Yeah, okay. I don't need to do that now, because I think I know what I've broken. All right, don't need that page. There's my results. Here's Postman. I want to reset it to 400. Force that. Yep. I hit my breakpoint. And this should come back when the request happens and reset to 400 and open up and look pretty cool. Steve Bolin just cried. Steve Bolin just cried? Steve Bolin's a Microsoft guy over in New York City. Trap for young players, as EEV blog might say. There's a REST client available as a Visual Studio extension. Very cool. That lives inside VS Code. There you go. Mordecai found one for us. This isn't updating with my new value. What happened? Why isn't it getting my new value? There it is. Test followers is 400. It should return that number of test followers. Right? Okay, so I'm hitting that, and it should be returning my 400 there. Yeah. Continue. But this isn't resetting. Why isn't it resetting? What did I do wrong over here? So it goes and gets it. Document get elements by class name current. That is this right here. Albert 02222, welcome. You know Albert 02222 because 02221 was already taken. So we went one more than that. So why isn't this resetting my value appropriately when it's been pushed some new information? So let's reach into this and see if we can see what's going on here. I'm actually going to bring up the debugger in Firefox. Firefox has been giving me Ajda recently. Cached page is the comment from R.D. Garrett. Could be. Let's take a look at what it gets when it goes and fetches it. So here's what it's actually doing, and the response that's coming back is the number 400. So that's correct. So let's go to, not inspector, debugger, that's where I want to be. Let's see here. This page, is it that page? Not browser link. Cool people following me. That's the page I'm at. And I'm going to go down here and I'm going to put a breakpoint right there. Put a breakpoint. It's not putting a breakpoint. I'd like a breakpoint, please. So there's browser link. I don't care about browser link. It's doing its thing. Why can't I set a breakpoint? No. No. It's not that page. I want to be specifically looking at this page. Some debugger. I do think I'm going to need to put some console logs in here because it's not. It's not letting me run the debugger here. Right? Yeah, that's what I'm going to end up doing here, Joe the Pro, is I'm just going to console log what's coming out. What I want to do is I want to put a breakpoint here so that I can just inspect and see it, right? But it's not letting me do that right now. Right? I mean, okay, I've got that. Big deal. But the debugger that... Eh? Right? Isn't it F9? No. No, it's not letting me put a breakpoint. That feels bad. Alright, so we're going to have to just put console logs in here. Oh, that stinks. Data returned. I'm not going to do a plus there. Because I want to see it as an object right next to it. So now browser link actually refreshed that page for me. Try Chrome or Edge. Yeah. So there's my console log. Rockstar Energy. No R. Welcome. So it's returning 400. It's getting the 400. But it's not doing... Right? It should be setting that text content. Right? If I grab that and give me the console here. Oh, you can't see it because it's behind my head here. That feels bad. There you go. Right, so if I do that and I say foo, that didn't work. Interesting. If I said inner text, that still doesn't work. Alright, what am I missing here? Oh, you know what? There's several of those. Right? Haha! I need to do that with each one of them. Okay, that's why that's not working. But the 400 did resize. It did resize this appropriately. So the problem is I'm getting multiple these things coming back, and I need to iterate across them. I know there's two of them. So I could just do that. Okay, so there, there's the value, and then if I change this now to 40, I don't need to know that's hitting anymore. There, that reset properly. Go back to Postman. 120. Cool. So that's working now. I got that properly. Whew. Joe the Pro is saying you could also do a for each method on the array. You're right. I could, but I know there's two there. It's just easier for me to do. Just indicate each one of those. So I've got that fixed. I am going to ship it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop this. I'm going to remove these extra console log statements. I think that's right. And then let me go back over to my command prompt. This is Stream Tools. Let's do a git status here. There we go. So there's my followers controller and the goal. So let me commit those. fixed goal bar to resize as followers change. Cool. Let's just push that up, just so it's so it's out of here. It's up there and fixed. Now, if I remember correctly, yep, I created a build command so that I can get my Docker image out into my private repository and be able to use it there. I think I have 06 is the last one I created. I'm going to call this 061. So 061. And this will just build that and then push the content out to that other repository. Unable to evaluate symlinks in Docker file path. System cannot find the file specified. Uh-oh. Ah, it's pointing to the wrong path. Alright. Let me fix that. Right, because it still points to the old name of this, Fritz Rundown, instead of Stream Tools. So we'll do that. And this needs to, oops. This needs to be Stream Tools. Ugh. Come here. Grab that. Paste. And paste. Looks good. Do that one more time. Did you find everything? There we go. All right. 061 Winter Shivers update. Yeah. There we go. Built. No such image. Fritz Rundown. Oh, I forgot to update it. Shoot. Look at that. All right. I'm going to have to go back in. Where'd it go? That. I forgot to update this one. To tag. I have a feeling I've got a bunch of extra images here I need to get rid of. Yeah. These ones, Fritz Rundown. Uh, 0.6. I think that's all I need. That's right. So let's do this one more time. Build 061. Here we go. And then what I should be able to do is pull a new version on my production machine here and get that bar up top to start refreshing. See, it hasn't moved. It still says 310. Feels bad. There we go. Now it's actually pushing. All right. I'll let that run in the background. Now I have that fixed. Let's get to SignalR, huh? Ugh. I thought that would be easy. I thought that would be easy to do. The best plans always go a little awry. That's actually done. Pushed. Exist. Cool. All right. So I'm just going to clear that. And I'm going to come back over here. This is my production instance. So I'm going to just Control-C to stop that. And what I should be able to do... I'm going to need to change my Docker run statement here so it brings down the... appropriate new name, Stream Tools. So let me just change that real quick. Notepad run. Say I believe in really complex names here like run. And this is going to be Stream Tools. Okay, now I should be able to just say run and it'll go find, there it is, it's going to go get it. and it'll start running it, and my doodads up at the top, all my widgets should update appropriately. Love seeing that it's only pulling 40 meg, right? That feels good, that it's nice and small, my application. And there it's running. It says 310 up there. So I'm going to go down into my OBS, and I'm actually going to tell it to refresh that cache at the current page. And if I did everything right, it should load and we should see it. Hopefully. There it goes, 319. All right. But it's not, now it's not sized right, and now it looks weird. Am I chopping off the end? No. That 500 just looks weird. Properties width 800. Let's see if I can fix this real quick. Nope, I'm going to have to tune that another time. I'll get that fixed and get back to you. Looks like overlap. It's not overlap, actually. It's just stretching funny. We'll fix it later. It's not where I need to go for today's stream. We'll fix that another time, and I'll let you know what I think it's an OBS setting, to be honest. All right. Let's go figure out what we can about... Yes, I know that doesn't exist now. About SignalR and how we can use SignalR inside of this application. So I'm going to go out to GitHub, ASP.NET. This is the home for where the ASP.NET team is working on their projects. So it's all open source. It's all available for you to come out here and take a look, spelunk around, if you will, and learn a little bit more about what's going on. So I'm going to search for, there it is, SignalR. Incredibly simple real-time web for ASP.NET Core. Fantastic. And let's see, what do we have here in the README? It's a new library for ASP.NET Core developers that makes it incredibly simple to add real-time web functionality to your applications. Blah, 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 blah. Marketing, marketing, marketing. Watch an introductory presentation here. ASP.NET Core sockets. Yep. This project is part of ASP.NET Core. You can find samples, documentation, getting started instructions in the home repo. Blah, blah, blah. You can install the latest released JavaScript client from NPM with the following command. Ooh. NPM install ASP.NET SignalR client. CI build publishes the latest dev version of the JavaScript client to our dev NPM registry as at ASP.NET SignalR client. You can install the module as follows. Alternatively, if you don't want to run the npm rc file, run the following commands. Npm install message pack 5, SignalR client registry, blah, blah, blah. Well, well, well. Let's do it. That seems easy enough to do, to create an npm rc file. So let me... Yeah. All right. So I'm here inside this folder, and inside this project is where I want to do that work with npm, and I want to get that package delivered. So let's add... I'm going to add a new item. And let me just do a search for npm, see if it comes up with the, yep, package JSON file. Fantastic. And there we go. Version, name, Fritz Stream Tools. There we go. Version, just because that's the version I stuck it with. Dev dependencies. Well, this is actually a full dependency. Dependencies. There we go. And I'll eventually end up putting it in here, but I need to get that npm rc file. Where are they saying to put that? They're not saying exactly where to put it. All right. So let's add another new item. We'll add this as a text file. Text. There we go. And I will just call this .npmrc. Fantastic. And look at that, it actually nested it under package.json. That's kind of neat. Let me copy out, where is it? This line. All right. Now, once again, I'm going to be using nightly build content here, right? This could be unstable, right? At best. So we'll see how we do here. All right. Thank you, Chris. That reminds me. Yeah. CFC, this isn't that type of stream. Nice knowing you. All right. That was annoying. So I have npmrc out here. So that should point to and should allow me to get that content. See, now here's the problem I have with burning my chat into the stream. But I need to now install ASP.NET SignalR client. So I should be able to just drop this as a dependency right here, right? Yeah, look at that. All right. See this? It's alpha 2. So, all right. So that should get my client. Let's see if I have. I should start to see a. It didn't restore my node packages yet. No. Where did... Let's see here. Yeah. Right? Where's my, No matching version found. In most cases, you or one of your dependencies. It's specified. Yeah. It should have used that npmrc and gone and found it. The final alpha. Yeah, I know, right? Gosh. Right. More.npm. Ah, look at that. Gosh. Why does it have the upper bite marks there? Nope, not showing me it. But I mean, that's what it's upset about. Is that it right there? Right? That's not it. Right? This. Here we are. Paste it in. Save. That's better. Nope, still doesn't like it. Alright, complete log of this can be found here. Show me. Silly install. Nice. All right. Blah, 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 blah. .NET MyGet. There it is. No matching version for SignalR Client 1.0.0 Alpha 2 Final. Well, what is there? Let's do this. Let's go back over here. Let's change this to just dot. See if we can get it to just find a version. And it's just kind of chilling, huh? Okay, once again, feels bad. Let's take a look back at this. Let's go check out that MyGet location and see if there's anything there. This is an NPM registry. Yeah, I know that. Packages, screenshots. Yeah. Don't think you need the special NPM URL anymore for SignalR Alpha 2 Final. Oh, you think it's directly in NPM? What is it? npmjs.org. Is that it, right? Com, that's it. And the name of the package is SignalR-client. Well, there it is. That looks legit. Yep, 1.0 Alpha 2 Final. So let's get rid of the npmrc. Why am I even in the file? No. Delete that. Yep. Give me that version. Now let's try npm install and see if we can get it. Ah, there we go. There's our node modules. Fantastic. And it's not showing up here in this one because this is actually configured to hide it. And it's sitting right there. Cool. All right. But I need that really in my... I'd prefer it to be in my lib. Am I going to have to go through writing a gulp file to do this move? Ugh. Ugh. Let's do this. Start node modules. What do we have in here? Oh, man. I'm going to have to pull some of this stuff. How much of this stuff am I going to have to pull over? So what's in the README? JavaScript, TypeScript clients, blah, blah, blah. Use the client in a browser. Copy star.js files from the dist browser folder to your script folder. Okay. Dist, browser. I have to copy all of these. Following polyfills are required to use the client in a Node.js application. Not doing that. Let's see here. Don't forget to raise an issue on GitHub to let them know. Great point. README? Is there anything about the README? No. Needs to be updated. The client library is now does not appear to be available on MyGet, only on npm.js. There you go. Alright, so I will go back to the README. We'll return to that in a second. But this says we need to copy the JS files from the dist browser folder to my script folder to include on our page using the script tag. I'm going to do this by hand just because I don't want to spend the time writing a gulp file right now to go and do that. That's going to be just a pain. I mean, I know I can do it, but why? SignalR, paste them in. There they are. All right, done. Okay. I don't need the developer documentation. I don't want to watch project. I just want to... And there's no wiki. All right. So, samples. Let's do this with a WebSocket, right? I think that's where I want to go. Okay, run WebSockets, get a waiter, get result. No. What do I need to reference? Yeah. He's referencing just Netcore app 2.1. That's annoying. How about the chat sample? Oh, man. Package references. Oh, man. Really? I don't see a SignalR one here. It looks like this is directly referencing the CS projects that have SignalR. Feels bad. Client? Is this... Once again, Netcore app 2.1. No. I don't want to use Jot. If this is the easy way to do it, I mean, it's literally a console app that's saying run WebSockets, and it's opening a local WebSocket. Oh no, new client WebSocket. Ooh. In Startup CS, yes. I don't see a Startup CS in this one. I only see Program. Services at SignalR. Great. What do I need to reference to add that? Add routing, add sockets, add endpoint, add transient. There's services at SignalR. Okay. Where do I get SignalR from? Microsoft ASP.NET Core SignalR. Is it on NuGet? There's the 102 alpha. Okay. So I think you're right, Joe Bun. This is where I can jump in at. So let's do that. I'm going to go over here, go into my project. Where's my project file? I like to edit the project file just because I think it's easy to just type these things in. So package reference, include Microsoft, feels bad. Microsoft ASP.NET Cores SignalR, and it's the 100 Alpha 2-Final. Because I can now. Yes, you're right, Chris. Because I can. Let's add that package reference, and behind the scenes, you can't see it here behind my head. It's restoring that package. Now, is it going to choke because it needs... Nope, it works in .NET Standard 2, so we should be good. Alright. So now, to Joe Bunn's question back there, we should be able to start using this. You know, it's funny, Magus, that's my blog, and I forgot that we had that blog post. Let's do that. Blogs, MSDN, Microsoft Com, Web Dev. And of course, when I want to navigate to my blog, it takes a long time. Where is it? It was back in September. There it is from Glenn. Yeah. No, that doesn't look like a very good set of samples there, but I'm seeing from Joe Bunn, app use SignalR, config map hub. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So let's go into startup. So here in configure services, right? This is where we're configuring all the things that are listening and doing work for us. All right, services, add SignalR, and configure options, all right? Configure, So that map hub isn't there that you're suggesting I use. If I reference that, let's do a control dot. I'm not getting it. Oh, you're right. I'm in add SignalR, not use SignalR yet. I always get these two confused, and I feel like I want a Roslyn analyzer that gets upset that it gives you a little helper here for add versus use, because you do the add statements up here in the configure, and you do the use to configure down here. Right? App dot use SignalR. There it is. Configure. And inside here, I should be able to say, right? Configure dot, there's map hub. So map hub is what we used before we had this. We had this concept of hubs that were listening and doing your interaction, right? They were maintaining state for you back and forth from your server to your client. So we want to map a name of a hub here, and I feel like I'm going to want a folder named hubs. So let's do that first. Let me add a new folder, hubs. So let's start off mapping a hub here called let's just call it follower hub. That makes sense. All right, do I need a path? It wants a path. Now, and it's not giving me any help there as to what the information is on that path. So I will just call it follower hub. And it's notifying me that this thing doesn't exist. In 1 second. Pardon me. So I'm actually going to create this thing over here. So let me add new class, and let's call this follower hub. 3D Crusader over there on Mixer. We're learning a little bit about SignalR for ASP.NET Core, so that we can build and interact with sockets using our ASP.NET Core application. I'm assuming I'm going to inherit from hub here. Yep. Looks like it. So now this thing I should be able to control dot. Cool. That looks like it worked. Yeah. The boss was calling to check in, and I want to see if I can. Let's see, let's do this. If you call on regular Skype, I can conference you in. Let's see if he jumps on. Not that Skype. Let's see. So I've got a follower hub. Now the follower hub in our previous version, there we go, look at this. Look, to access the hub from the controller using DI, yeah, look at this. Now where did you get this documentation, Joban, or did you just figure this out? iHub context, follower hub. I know where you're going with that. So the hubs, right? The hubs are the, what's the word I'm looking for? The interaction point with the SignalR service. What? It's telling me I'm already signed into Skype. How's that work? Oh, I already have a Skype running. It's possible to run 2 Skypes? Did you know that? You can run 2 Skypes. I wouldn't recommend it. Yes, I want to quit this Skype. Let's see. Amazon has me signed in already. Oh, good. Oh, good. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Way to go there, tough guy. So the hub is the endpoint, is the management endpoint that's going to open and listen on these sockets that I can interact with. So by publishing and making this thing available from ASP.NET, I should be able to manage my list of followers over there, and as that list of followers changes, publish that information on the hub, and it'll broadcast that across to all of the clients that are listening. So that is, I think, how we want to do this. Okay, for Skype saying it's already signed in, it's not working for me. Let's see. So I'm going to wire... Now, we used to be able to create methods on our hubs that would... There would be an endpoint that our clients could see and then post to and listen to. And that's how you would interact with it. It's never a good sign when your task manager says not responding. Feels bad. So the question from 3D Crusader is, what's the purpose of the program I'm writing? So this program that I'm working on, this web application, it's called Stream Tools, and it's going to give some of those tools, some of these widgets that I have embedded in the video here. And since both Twitch and Mixer expose the data, the metrics about their streams to third-party tools, I'm going to connect to and interact with those using ASP.NET Core. This is an in-memory hub, all newish to me. In a multi-server environment, you would use Redis or something of the like. That's right, Crankinator. So when you're using multiple servers, you have to create what they call a backplane. And something like Redis will be that backplane, an extra service that listens and communicates across all the servers that are subscribing and transmitting and working with that data. Joban says the stock ticker app SignalR sample seems to show how to do it correctly. Yeah, I think you're right, but I'm trying to... Yeah, there we go. Now we finally get Task Manager to respond properly. And Skype still isn't responding here on my local machine. Nice. Nice. I'm just going to go kill it. And... not that one. Not that one. Skype. Skype for regular people. And then we'll go take a look at that stock ticker app and see if I've got everything configured right here so that I can start building out my list of followers. There we are. Move to Discord. That's actually something that I need to figure out here is, do we want to move the chat over to Discord so then it's unified across both Mixer and Twitch. But actually I'm starting to look at Twitch a little leery, and I'm not thrilled with Twitch recently. Mostly because I'm not thrilled with Amazon. Where am I going here? Let's go back over here. And you were suggesting that the stock ticker sample. Well, I don't see the stock ticker sample here. Is it here in socket sample? Is this it? I don't want to be streaming. It's more like a chat. I think the real usefulness of SignalR here is because Jeff does not want this app to poll for updates. Yes. Rather just receive them in real time when the data changes. Yes. It's under ASP.NET SignalR samples. Ah. SignalR samples. And stock ticker. .NET restore, .NET run, stock ticker app. There's startup. Add SignalR, add scoped. Oh, look at that. It adds the hub scoped like that. Interesting. So let's do that. Services add scoped. So, and then I'm creating what's called a follower hub. Okay. So when you add something in this method inside of your configure services method, this is configuring the dependency injection container for ASP.NET, right? This is going to deliver and make all of these objects available to be injected into other objects so you can compose the things that you need. So by adding the follower hub as a scoped resource here, it's saying dependency injection container, we want you to be aware of this thing because we might ask for it and you're going to want to reference it and have that thing available. Now, stock ticker, I'm assuming, is some sort of a class that's actually doing the ticker. And then use SignalR, it maps hub, stock ticker hub to stocks. Okay. So I don't want to map it to followers. Let's call this follower stream. Yeah. To be fair, Streamlabs is a very popular place for streamers to get this functionality, but you know how it is for devs. We want to tweak it a bit, and thus homemade tools are born. Yes. That's exactly right, Chris. So it's not very hard. I know how to write web pages. Streamlabs does a great job. But you know what? Let me see what's involved in writing my own. I think this is a serviceable example to learn things like SignalR, how to use other APIs, and how to build very simple web pages inside ASP.NET Core, and then package them up inside a container so that anybody can use it wherever you need it. All right, so I'm mapping to this location. That looks simple. Let me look in www.root. Here's my index. So this is the stock ticker sample. It referenced some CSS. Open, close, reset. Yep, we saw those before in previous examples. So let's see. Here we go. If it doesn't know what promises are, go get the ES5 version of this. But there is no... Oh, no, I did grab that also. Anybody in chat know how to differentiate between DLLs that are defined twice in the project? In which project? In a .NET project? You should be able to look at the details of that by right-click on the DLL, look at the details, and see the difference between them. Right, so if I'm referencing... right, I'm referencing down here some DLL. Here, let's look at Visual Basic. Right? Oh gosh, it doesn't give you properties on this anymore. Look at that. Gosh. Newtonsoft is defined twice. Where do you see it defined twice? So I don't see it in the SDK version here. Using Mixer and HoloLens SDKs, and they clash with JSON Reader Writer. Ooh. So what you can do, to answer your question there, 3D Crusader, is if you look at your project, you can actually force a version, you can pin a version of Newtonsoft by including it here and specifying the version directly in your project file. And that should help lock down exactly which one you want to use. So I've used that pin trick several times. And this feels weird. There it goes. Why doesn't it always? Now it looks really weird there. Come on. No, not going to work for me. Thanks. And if I pin it, and it isn't stretching for me. All right. So I have the hub mapped, and then it's just referencing and pulling in that appropriate version. So let me just clip this, because that feels right. And let me add that. Well, this is just in an HTML file that it's serving. If I want to do that in my goal file here, right, which really is just HTML, let me add this right there. So it includes that first. And the goal here is I want to get rid of my jQuery. Oh, nearly made a mistake here. Before I go any further, I want to create a feature branch. Oh my gosh. Git checkout feature SignalR. All right. That way I don't break anything and it's kind of off to the side. Both SDKs have the DLL included, so they exist twice in 2 different directories. Yikes. Yeah, next issue to open for the Visual Studio team. Yeah, this thing doesn't work all the time. Alright, so let me go back to the sample. So, it looks like all the code is in scripts SignalR stock ticker JS. So let's go back up. Is scripts here? Ah, there's that. Yikes. All right, let's start parsing this apart in just a second, because I realized I need to get these in the correct folder, which I didn't just put them in scripts, I put them under lib SignalR. So let's do that. Lib SignalR. I'm on. Daughters. Alright, and let me make sure I actually have these files. Lib SignalR. So the first one is client ES5 100 alpha 2 final JS. Yep, and it looks like there's a min there. And SignalR client 100 alpha 2 final JS. Cool. Those are both there. All right, so these files I can now reference. Now, the code that they wrote over here, if not string prototype supplant, poor man's templating. What? All right, so it's getting references to the various parts of the page here. Okay. And it's creating up and down markers. Not a big deal. Let connection equal new SignalR hub connection /stocks. Connection start, then connection invoke get all stocks, then okay. Connection invoke get market state, then, and then here it's listening for those promises. Okay, so I need to do something like down here, this start streaming. Connection stream, well, let me make sure, where was connection again? Connection is new SignalR hub connection /stocks. Okay, all right, so let's start with that. Right, I'm, for now, just going to comment this bit out, because I want it there to reference as I build this. So let connection equal new SignalR, right? Was it like that? Dot hub connection, and I called it follower stream. That looks easy. All right. Connection start, yeah, we need to connection start, then, yep, and then we have a callback function. All right. So in here's where we're going to do our work, okay? Connection invoke get all stocks, then display stock, get market state. Open on click is going to do connection invoke open market. So open market is a method actually that's hosted server side, right? Whenever you see this dot invoke, these are methods, if I remember my SignalR correctly, that actually exist server side. So there's get all stocks, stream stocks, get market state, open market, close market. These are methods, right? And they're all returning tasks. Yeah, this and stream. So this is where I think I want to work, is here with this being able to stream, and it's returning an iObservable. I think that's where I want to work. So let's do that. And let's create that server side. So let me come over here to follower hub. Now, fortunately, I wrote my Twitch service and my Mixer service, and I injected them as I-hosted services, singletons, that I can reference and get access to. So I should be able to reference these in my constructor and then get access to them inside of this hub. So I'm going to create a constructor, and I'm going to reference Twitch service, and let's just call this Twitch, and I'll reference Mixer service, and we'll call this just Mixer. I'll control dot on both of these to get my using statement. All right. This dot Twitch equals Twitch. This dot Mixer equals Mixer. So now I've got reference to both of these. Yep, that's fine. Read-only properties, good. So the read-only properties, right, these are properties that can only be populated. They can only be written to in my constructor, and I can read from them anywhere. They have a get and an implied private set. You don't have to specify that as of C#6. So I'm going to create a method here that looks just like this. Right? And I'm going to call it, instead of stream stocks, stream followers. And I'm just going to make it an int that I'm returning. And now how do I make an iObservable that's returning this integer as it changes? So I'm going to go back over here, and let's take a look at that stock ticker object. So the stock ticker, oh, look at these semaphores for multi-threading. Looks fun. Okay, so the stock ticker is taking in, look at this, an iHub context. Now, if this is the same thing as what I did in SignalR previously, this is some sort of a reference to the folks that are listening to this hub, okay? Which then feels like almost a circular reference, right? Because, well, let's open this in a second tab here, right? This is taking in a stock ticker, but the stock ticker is taking in a collection of clients. All right, well, let's grab that information and make that handy. Oh gosh. I think somebody was talking about in a previous stream that we should probably have a follower service that takes in all of these and then manages some of our socket information. I think that's where I need to start going here. So let's actually go in that direction. I'm going to reach down into Mixer service, and I'm going to work there. There's all this great code that I think it was Joban wrote for us. So I'm going to write a class in here, and we will just call this follower service. And I'll use this as my aggregator. I'm going to move that to another file. Yuck. Yuck. There it is. All right. So, ooh, neat. Don't need that. Seems like maybe the collection could be empty to begin with. You're right. You're right. For this, I'm going to create and reference the Twitch service over here. And this is also kind of good because now I won't be polluting my other things with information about my individual services. I'm going to want an I configuration, config, and then that iHub context for the follower hub context. I think that's everything that I needed. Let's control dot and bring in some of these things. And I'm going to put some carriage returns in here so that I can see everything. Okay. Now I think I need to register the follower service so that it's available over here. Now I've added those other things as singletons. I think I'm going to want this at the very least to be scoped to start, if not a singleton at some point. So I'm going to add scoped, and we will make this a follower service. Good. All right. I think I'm going to need to end here soon. We're about a half hour over when I normally want to end. So this dot Twitch equals Twitch. This dot Mixer equals Mixer. This dot config equals config. I'm just storing this stuff off, right? This dot, yeah, be quiet. This dot follower context equals follower hub context. And let's generate all those with just a quick control dot. There we go. So now I've got somewhere hanging out here that I should be able to work with a little bit. Now, why am I getting a red underline over here on Twitch service? Oh. I've named this follower service, and I've already got something out there called follower service for Twitch. So let me call this my follower service, just to get it separate, right? Even though it's in a separate namespace. Just to make sure. Why didn't it give me a thing to change my file name here? There we go. Blah 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 blah. Okay. So now over here in the follower hub, I should now be able to receive a my follower service. And instead of receiving and working with these things, I should be able to say this dot my follower service equals my follower service. And I'll control dot to generate that. To send a message to connected clients, you can just do hub context clients all invoke async new stuff data. Yes. And right, I'm going to be doing that when these things, right, when something new happens in these things. Right, so I'm going to have some sort of a method down here. Public void, I don't know what this is. It's some other method. We'll figure it out in a bit. But Jobun has a great point here. Let me scroll that up a little bit so it's easy to see. But we're going to be doing something like follower context, clients, all. Right, invoke async. New follower count, right? And that's the method that we're going to be calling down there. And we'll pass down to it. Let's just create a property out here just to make sure it's easy to get to. And we'll call it, we'll make it an int total follower count. Notice my ego didn't say make this a long. No. We aren't going to get to more than 2 billion followers. I'm going to make it an int. And this is return Twitch dot current follower count plus Mixer dot current follower count. Right, so then I can just return total follower count when this some other method is called. And Joe Bunn created the update event in the Mixer service just for this. Get out of town. Mixer service. Look at that. So when this event is raised because it picked up, right? Check this out, right? Show me where's my references? Is updated reference here? I'm not seeing a references doodad. No, that did a page down. Right? So parse event updated invoke, and it passes back, and it says, we've been updated. Awesome. Oh, that's awesome. So here's what we can do. Right? So let's call this, let's make this an internal, because I don't want to expose it. Right? Followers updated. So what we can do is we can say mixer dot mixer updated. Instead of doing that, I could just round it. Once a sender, whatever. Just go with this format for right now. And then I'll just call followers updated, and it'll notify all of the connected clients. And I can do the same thing here with Twitch, because Twitch actually has a similar event that I didn't expose from the Twitch service when I wrote it. Right? It has... Where'd this come from? Why isn't that throwing a message here? var viewers equals, and there's nothing there. Where'd that come from? We were working on trying to capture the viewers over there. We'll get back to that. So I'm going to put another update, right? So I have an update viewers here that's actually listening and passing on that update information. I'm going to add an event here, just like we have in the Mixer service, called updated, and then I'm going to raise it appropriately. So then I'll have the exact same signature in both services. Like it should almost belong to a interface. We'll get back to that. And then just like Joe Bunn did down here, did updated invoke and passed on the information to say, hey, I've got an update over here. So when not the viewers, when the followers change, on new follower detected, it's calling this over here. So I'm actually going to just keep propagating that and not just increment that, but I'm going to invoke my updated event so that it bubbles up. And now over here in my follower service, I can do the exact same thing. I can say twitch.updated. And you know what? I can use the exact same thing here. I'm just going to say stream service updated. And stream service updated. There we go. Cool. Now I need the new follower count method to exist on my page, right? So down here, connection start, I actually need the function to exist for it to call. And you know what? I am way over time here, and I've got a couple other things coming up, and I'm going to run into a big issue here if I don't get offline soon. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm at a place now where some of these things aren't exactly complete. Let me just comment this out so that I don't have bogus code here. Let's return null just to make sure that works. Startup, this should be my follower service. Cool. All right. I'm going to save all this, and I'm going to commit this. So we need to add hubs. We need to add services. I got the thing backwards. There it goes. Git add package JSON. Yeah. That's fine. Git add. I'm not going to add the SignalR folder because that really was just copied over. But let me commit. Started adding SignalR. And I will push. Yep. Set up stream origin feature SignalR. And I can pick up from there next time. So let me go over and inside live stream, continue adding SignalR functionality to stream follower count. Adding to the follower goals view. So I know where to pick up. And do I have a label for work in progress? Let me add a work in progress label. And what's a good color? Sure, let's go with that. All right. This, labels, work in progress. Cool. So I know where to pick up. I should also come over here to Stream Tools, and I'm going to create an issue over here. And yeah, I need to resume with adding SignalR to followers goal. Yeah, looks good. All right. So we've pushed everything back up into GitHub. Got some great direction of where to go with this. I'm feeling pretty confident with how this is structured. I can't wait to see if it actually works. If you want to take some time and tinker with this and see if you can get it working, I encourage you to check that out. All this code is open source, but I need to end the stream today. I've got meetings and things I need to get to. So thanks so much for joining me today. I'll have the video out on YouTube a little bit later today, and a wrap-up blog post over on my blog, jeffreyfritz.com. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining me today here on this Tuesday, January 2nd, first day back to work after the long holiday. It feels good to be coding again. So, I'll catch you next time. Take care.